My husband's first love got engaged. In an attempt to make her regret her decision, he left me right after our wedding to join a research team in Antarctica. Despite visiting him 66 times, my efforts were in vain. 5 years later, I stopped going. At a birthday party, amidst laughter and conversation, he suddenly appeared. Upon seeing my slightly rounded belly, he was visibly upset. I've been at the research institute for 5 years, and you ignored me all along. Whose child is in your belly? I replied calmly, it's none of your business. According to the law, a couple can divorce after being separated for more than 2 years. Upon hearing this, Jackson kicked over the birthday cake in anger. Avery, I've only been away for 5 years, and you've already gotten yourself pregnant. Who does the child belong to? I'm going to make sure he can't survive in New York City. Watching Jackson ruin the carefully prepared birthday party, I got angry too. Jackson, this isn't the place for you to act out. If you're not well, go to the hospital. The mention of hospital made Jackson's emotions flare up. He grabbed my arm and started dragging me outside. We're going to the hospital right now. Jackson was so strong, I couldn't even struggle. At that moment, Grandma Nora heard the commotion and hurried over with her cane. Seeing Jackson's rough actions, she was instantly alarmed. Jackson, let go of Avery. Avery is pregnant with. Jackson's mood softened a bit when he saw Grandma, but his anger surged again at her words. He interrupted Grandma Nora. Avery, you're quite clever, even fooling Grandma. Then he raised his hand and slapped me hard. Blood trickled from my mouth as my cheek swelled. Grandma Nora was shocked by the scene. She tried to rescue me from Jackson's grip, but the bodyguard by Jackson's side kept her away. Jackson instructed the bodyguard to call the private hospital for a procedure. As he arranged things, he dragged me into the car. Grandma Nora reluctantly got into another car with the bodyguard. None of the surrounding friends offered help. Instead, they watched the scene unfold. Jackson's family was wealthy and influential. They didn't want to offend him and were happy to give him respect. The car quickly reached the private hospital. The director personally came out to greet Jackson. Ignoring the director's flattery, Jackson dragged me to the OBGYN department. Jackson, let go of me. The child in my belly is. Before I could finish, we ran into Phoebe, who had just come out of the doctor's office. She was Jackson's former sister-in-law and his long-cherished first love. Seeing Jackson, she happily ran over and hugged him. Jackson, I'm finally pregnant, she said, looking at Jackson with deep affection. Jackson let go of my hand and carefully hugged Phoebe. Phoebe, you're pregnant now. Be careful. Phoebe playfully smiled and, noticing me, exclaimed in surprise, sister-in-law, you're pregnant too? Seeing their intimate actions, I instantly understood why Jackson left for 5 years and why Phoebe disappeared too. They had been together all along. Ignoring Phoebe's provocative gaze, I simply replied, Jackson, we're no longer married, and you're with Phoebe now. Let me go immediately, or you won't be able to handle the consequences. Grandma Nora was shocked to see Jackson and Phoebe together, but it was more important to stop Jackson from doing something rash. Jackson, let Avery go home and rest. Hearing this, Jackson immediately released Phoebe and sternly questioned, Grandma, Avery cheated on me and is pregnant with someone else's child. Do you want me to turn a blind eye? Grandma Nora realized Jackson wasn't going to let it go easily. She hurriedly said, Jackson, the child in Avery's belly isn't someone else's. It's. Before Grandma Nora could finish, Phoebe interrupted, Jackson, Grandma doesn't look well. Is Avery not taking good care of her? Or is Grandma being threatened by Avery? Hearing this, I found it laughable. Jackson, you were raised by Grandma, and you disappeared for 5 years. You know better than anyone why Grandma's not well. Phoebe smirked and approached me. You intruded on the relationship between Jackson and me. Don't you know why Jackson left? As she spoke, Phoebe pushed me hard. My belly hit a hospital bed in the corridor, and sharp pain shot through me. A warm sensation flowed down my thigh. Grandma Nora looked on in panic. Doctor, come quickly. Avery's child can't be harmed. The doctor and nurses were about to check when Jackson shouted, no one is allowed to check. Today, I'm making sure she doesn't keep the child. At the director's signal, the doctor and nurses didn't dare move. Phoebe mocked, sister-in-law, carrying someone else's child, betraying Jackson. How do you have the nerve to seek help from the family hospital's doctors? Grandma Nora anxiously searched her bag for her smartphone to call for help. Jackson ordered the bodyguard to take Grandma's phone away. Grandma, what kind of manipulation did Avery use on you? You're still trying to help her. Grandma, I'm telling you, this child must not remain. Grandma Nora was shocked. Jackson, I'm your grandmother. Won't you even listen to me? Saying this, Grandma Nora supported me to leave and find another hospital, but the bodyguard restrained her. Jackson, stop this madness. I struggled to stand, clutching my belly, breaking out in cold sweat. The child in my belly isn't yours to touch. Let me go now, or you can't handle the consequences. Jackson stared at me, silent for a moment. Then Phoebe started live streaming with her smartphone. She whispered something in Jackson's ear. Jackson took the smartphone from Phoebe and aimed it at me. Avery, if you don't want a dignified procedure in the hospital, I'll do it another way. Remember the consequences of betraying me. Jackson ordered the bodyguard to tie me to the hospital bed. I stared in horror at the bodyguard holding a stick. I struggled desperately, trying to break free. I was ready to reveal the true identity of the child's father. Jackson, you're insane. The child I'm carrying is. Before I could finish, the bodyguard, at Jackson's signal, struck my belly with a stick. The intense pain turned my words into cries of agony. Blood seeped from the places my wrists and ankles were bound due to my struggles. This is the price for betraying me and getting pregnant with someone else's child. The live stream audience, after hearing the story, joined in. This woman is obviously trouble. Cheaters deserve to die. Don't let her off easily. Teach her a lesson. Let all women see the consequences of infidelity. Jackson showed me the live stream comments. Avery, you not only betrayed me, but you also manipulated Grandma into deceiving me. Today, I'm going to make sure the child in your belly is dealt with. Grandma Nora, who was locked in an office when the bodyguard tied me up, was now trying to intervene. As the second blow was about to land, someone suddenly burst in. He stopped the bodyguard. Young Master Jackson, Miss Avery isn't someone you can touch now. Stop and apologize to Miss Avery. It might make your life easier later. Phoebe looked uneasy at the sight of the bodyguard, but she said said nothing. Jackson, however, stared at the intruder for a long time before speaking. I see you're familiar. You're my brother's bodyguard. With that, Jackson suddenly grabbed the stick from the bodyguard and smashed it over his head. How dare you meddle with my affairs? Blood gushed from the bodyguard's head as he collapsed on the ground. Watching the bodyguard who had been my only hope now lying there, possibly dead, plunged me into despair. Jackson, please, I'm sorry. Spare the child in my belly. I was desperate, crying as I spoke. Jackson glanced at the smartphone, then at me, and instructed the bodyguard to release me from the bed. Now kneel in front of me and tell me what you did wrong. If the livestream audience forgives you, then I will too. Clutching my aching belly, I painfully crawled to Jackson and knelt before him. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have betrayed you or gotten pregnant. I'm at fault, but the child is innocent. Please, spare him. Jackson looked at my pitiful state and said nothing. Instead, he connected with a netizen's microphone. A furious voice came from the other end of the smartphone. You deserve to be punished. Show no mercy. Are you kneeling here to confess your mistakes? If the viewers in the live streaming room forgive you, then so will I. Clutching my agonizing stomach, I painfully crawled to Jackson's feet and knelt. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been unfaithful, and I shouldn't have gotten pregnant. I've made terrible mistakes, but the child is innocent. Please, I'm begging you, spare him. Jackson surveyed my disheveled state in silence. Instead, he randomly connected a viewer's mic. An outraged voice burst through the smartphone. You deserve to be punished, you wretched woman. Someone should teach you a lesson. Phoebe approached Jackson and spoke with deliberate calm. Jackson, see, your sister-in-law is still unwilling to give up the child and won't disclose the father's identity. It seems she hasn't truly realized her mistakes. Their conversation made my face go pale, but for the sake of my child, I had to fight. I endured the pain and abruptly stood up, racing toward the exit. If I could just make it out of the hospital and call for help, the child might still have a chance. Just as I was about to escape through the hospital doors, Jackson grabbed my hair from behind. He yanked me back with such force, I felt my scalp tearing apart. You're still thinking of running away, are you? Without a lesson, you won't learn. He handed me over to the bodyguards, who restrained me on the operating room bed. Doctor, perform the procedure and remove the child. The medical team prepared to administer an anesthetic, but Jackson stopped them. She's disgraced herself, and the child is illegitimate. No need for anesthetic. Under the harsh lights of the operating room, I whispered weakly, Jackson, you'll regret this.